let's do it, man. Talking Dolphins, man. Retrospective 2007 season. So I don't know if anybody's seen the last retrospective. What we like to do, we actually like to talk about the year before the year in pop culture as a whole, and then we get into the actual season, man. So 2007, Rod, what do you remember about 2007 that year?
Well, the most significant thing for me personally was 2007 is the boy. It's the year your boy graduated, man.
Yeah, man, that is true, man.
07
Oh
class. You
07,
feel
oh
me?
07 class, man. Woo,
But
yikes.
um, but
Rod,
but
we're almost at the point where we're gonna have a 20 year. Next year would be a 20-year reunion, dog. That's like, oh my god,
bruh,
man.
you ain't got to remind me of all
That's
that,
that's
boy.
tough. That's tough.
Remind me
That's
of all that.
tough. That's really tough, bro.
Woo, we get old, man.
Yeah,
But look,
man. Yeah.
but listen, '07 had some. Listen, '07 was when you go back and look at these years. Like '08, I realized was just an awesome year.
Yeah, for sure.
'07 was an awesome year, but there were some things like, for example, Spider-Man 3 came out that year, right?
Yep.
And that movie was a big box office hit. I hated the movie back then. I probably watched it some years ago. I hate it now. This shit. Um, but I heard me. I listen. Transformers came out that year, right? And I remember Transformers, the first one, will always hold a special place. I saw that movie like 3, 4 different times with different friends and shit. But I also went to take my mom to go see that movie, right? And she was someone who was adamant about not liking these type of movies. Man, she couldn't wait for the next one after
Right.
watching the
Yeah, I remember
Transformers,
you
bro.
telling me that. I remember you telling me how much you loved it, bro. And you were
Dude, it
just
was
like
awesome, man.
shocked.
It was well, it was, bro. She couldn't believe what she was watching. And look at the state of movies now,
But
bro. Like,
that was the crazy part about it. I remember when we went to go watch Transformers, and everybody in their mind, like everybody in the theater, had their mind blown. Like we thought, like it was such an achievement more than anything. Like this is
yeah,
possible. We've gotten to the point where we can make a Transformers movie. We gotten to the point where the CGI in Pirates of the Caribbean is some of the best CGI ever. Like we got to see things on a big screen that we just did not think was possible. So yeah, 2007, bro, was it had some stuff, bro. Like
bro. You had Umbrella from Rihanna. You had Halo 3 came out, bro. For the
big
old
one,
school gamers.
big one. That's a big one. Yeah, a
You
lot of
had
Doritos,
Superbad.
lot of Doritos and Mountain Dew was consumed to Halo 3, my boy, for sure,
Bro,
for sure.
Superbad came out, bro, which is a legendary comedy, bro. I Am Legend closed out the year,
Yep,
man.
yep.
There was a couple bad things like the Virginia Tech shooting, which was a big thing. It's crazy now because the school shootings now, like we're numb to these things now,
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Back then, the Virginia Tech shooting was a huge thing.
It
You know
was,
what
of
I'm
course, it was a
saying?
huge thing. It was so huge because it was one of the first ones since the Columbine, where it's like, oh my god, like they
Yep.
talked about the Virginia Tech shooting for months. A
Yep.
school shooting now, it's conversation for maybe 48 hours. Like we're so numb because it's happened so much and we've gone so backwards as a society when it comes to that thing. So yeah, it's crazy what used to matter that doesn't matter almost 20 years ago. Um,
Right.
I have a couple of things, right? So this is I got a couple of pop culture factoids. 2007, the year that Britney Spears completely went batshit crazy and shaved her head.
Oh,
That
I
happened in
forgot about
2007.
that. Ooh.
2007, the finale of The Wire and the final episode of The Sopranos. That
Oh,
was also
dude, two of
2007.
the greatest shows of all time, and I watched them late.
Right? 2007, the iPhone, the most transformative piece of technology to ever exist, came out in 2007. Absolutely, completely changed phones, to completely changed technology.
Changed the
People,
game.
I don't think people understand this. There was a time where there were more than just one phone that a person had, right? Everybody had a bunch of different like I remember people had a Motorola Razor, you had a BlackBerry, you had a Sidekick. Your phone was something that identified you, right? And then this guy named Steve Jobs, crazy fucking guy, right? Who had this crazy idea to say, I'm going to make a phone with no buttons. And people were like, that's not going to work. Bill Gates and Microsoft laughed at him. I remember, like, we have to put things in context. I was somebody because that's the time where I just love technology. I knew that the iPhone was going to be something that just changed everything. But that was not the conversation. It was such a radical idea to make a phone with no buttons. Like people thought that was the dumbest thing ever.
They
And
thought
it
it was insane.
completely they thought it was insane. They thought it was going to be a massive failure. This phone that is dominating, I think 70% of the market share was at one point in time thought to be a failure and was going to be dead on arrival. And it is the most transformative thing that technology has ever produced.
Bro,
So that came out in 2007.
Herbie, imagine this, bro. It's gotten so bad that there's phone discrimination. Like there are people who don't even want to see you if you ain't got that blue bubble on.
Dog,
It's a culture.
I am in the Apple ecosystem specifically because I want to have sex with women. That's it. That's the only reason, dog. Like, I got tired of girls catching the ick just because they got a green bubble when they text me, dog. It sucks, man. I am that shallow. I'm sorry. I only have this phone so I can have sex with women. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, shout out to Shaw. That's a good one, man. The file, bro, Mike Vick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a lot happened in 2007, bro. Crank That Soldier Boy came out. Like, there's a lot of things. So I got a couple things right here, right? And then we'll move on to the Dolphins part. Number one film, highest grossing film of that year, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. The number one album, you're never gonna guess what the number one album in America was. The highest selling album in America was in 2007, right?
What was the highest selling album in 2007?
Noel by Josh Groban, the guy that looks just like Ernie when Ernie had long
Oh
hair.
my God, no way.
Do you want to know what the number one and number two and number three and number four shows were that year? This is how crazy times used to be. Football was not the number one show in America in 2007. Football was the number 10 show. Like, this is the time where this is before football completely dominated. What do you think was the number one show in America in 2007, Rod?
The number one show in America in 2007. It was probably something like How I Met Your Mother or something like that.
No, not even in the top 10. Number one show in America in 2007 was American Idol on Tuesday. The
Oh
number
my
two
God.
show in America was American Idol on Wednesday. That was the number one and number two show in America. The Tuesday American Idol and then the Wednesday American Idol. Number three, you really not going to guess this one. Dancing with the Stars was the number three show in America. The number four show was the reaction show, Dancing with the Stars on Wednesday. Like, reality TV, competition television was the biggest thing in the world in 2007, bro. Like, it's insane.
I totally forgot about that culture, bro.
And then you had Desperate Housewives, CSI, House, Grey's Anatomy, and rounding out the top 10, Sunday Night Football. That is completely different in 2020, 2026, and going into 2027. Now, if you look at the Nielsen chart, it's going to say Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, and then a TV show.
Because everybody's
right?
streaming
Yeah, so, and not even that. It's just because football has gone from this thing that has just become a monoculture unto itself.
Yeah.
Like if you look at every year the top 100 rated shows, like 70 of the shows, it's a football game, right? Like, it's just, football is so massive, and it's just crazy to think that in 20 years it really wasn't. It wasn't even close to what it is now, as far as attention, as far as viewership. So I thought that was a little interesting tidbit, man. So let's get into the season, man. 2007, man, the infamous 1-15 Miami Dolphins, the Cam Cameron Dolphins, the Ted Ginn Dolphins, the Randy Mueller Dolphins.
Let me before you continue, Herbie, I just want people to remember, my Dolphin fans, y'all remember this. Y'all remember when Cam Cameron went out and was just like, oh, I'll take Ted Ginn Jr. and his family? Y'all remember that? I hope you do. Go ahead, continue, Herb.
No. This is where you shine, bro. So I have a couple of stats from this 2007 Dolphins, man. Obviously, you were fourth in the division, last in the division. The record was 1-15, like I said. You guys were the 26th ranked offense, the 30th ranked defense, You had the worst point differential. I think you guys were negative 170 points. Dog. Like,
We were awful. We
so
Herbie,
bad.
Herbie, that team, Herbie, let me tell you something. And this is why, Herbie, that no matter what happens from here forward, no matter who I meet, you can never, ever, ever test my faith as a Dolphin fan, bro. Because that season tested that was the most adversity that every Dolphins fan had ever faced. You want to talk about Herbie? We went 14 weeks without winning one game. We
Insane.
went 14
Insane.
weeks. Herbie, picture this, dog. If Cleo Lemon doesn't hit Greg Camarillo over the middle in overtime after the Ravens miss a kick, because the Ravens actually had an opportunity. They had two opportunities to ice that game. The Ravens had an opportunity to score at the end of the game, but they got cold feet because, when Kyle Bowler is your quarterback, you're not going to take a lot of risks. So they said,
Right.
we'll kick the field goal. We'll handle it in overtime. They got the ball in overtime. They marched down the field. They couldn't get in the end zone. They missed the kick. Cleo Lemon to Greg Camarillo over the middle. The Dolphins finally get a win. The Dolphins finally get a win. Herbie,
Y'all could.
that season was so awful. And let me tell you this. That was the season, Herbie. That was the season where I truly learned to hate Tom Brady. Prior to '07, I didn't like Tom Brady because he was the Patriots quarterback. But after
Yeah.
watching him throw 6 touchdowns on us, bro, and bro, I thought to myself, like, yo, for real, dog? Y'all gonna kick a dog while he's been down, dog? Oh, bet. I hated Herbie. I hated Brady until he went to the Bucks. I hated him for that.
Oh no, for
I
sure.
never forgave
For
him.
sure. As
I
you
never forgave
should.
him.
As you should have. You gotta think about it, bro. Like, it was just a disaster all the way around. Like, I remember the first press conference that Cam Cameron got, and we knew immediately, like, we're like, oh, we're in trouble. This dude don't have no, like, he don't got no sauce, no energy. There's nothing to this. He's a nothing burger. He's a zero. Like, we're screwed. Like, you knew it, but you still try to have faith. And then the 2007 draft happened. And then they took Ted Ginn. And we're like, oh, we're really in trouble. Now, granted, a lot of people wanted Brady Quinn, but he felt in his heart you guys needed Ted Ginn. And then the season started. And y'all got y'all ass kicked. And we're
Herbie,
like, oh,
Ted get imagine your first two picks in a new regime is Ted Ginn Jr. and John Beck. And shout out to you, Rashad. You're right. The '07 Patriots, in terms of teams in my lifetime, in terms of a single football team that I watched dominate for a whole season, that Patriots team is the most dominant team that I ever watched. But
yeah, it sucks that they didn't win, bro.
fuck
They,
that, Herbie. I love it.
oh, you're right. You're right. My bad. My bad. My bad.
I love it. That Herbie, that made going 1-15 worth it. Imagine, Herbie, the 72 Dolphins went to the one game we won, and their spirit carried on to the Giants, Herbie. It
Oh
carried on to the
God, dude.
Giants.
I can, bro. You know me. There's nothing I hate more than the New York Giants, bro. Like, and the Philly Eagles are a close second. I could not watch ESPN for 2 weeks, bro. Like, I was just so mad. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. Like, back to this team though, man. You guys were bad at everything, bro.
Herbie,
Bottom
Marty
bottom
Bishop was
five
our number one
offense.
receiver, man.
Yeah,
Come
bottom five in
on.
defense. Like, this team was a disaster, dog.
Disaster.
Like,
Especially after Ronnie Brown got hurt because he was actually starting to look good and then he tore his ACL. Nah, bro. This team was just a disaster from start to finish, man.
I mean, it
Herbie,
was it was rough,
We were
bro.
on 14 going into week 15, bro.
You guys had a -5 when it came to expected rushing yards, bro. Like y'all just did nothing well. Like y'all did nothing well. Like 170 point differential is atrocious. Now, granted, majority of that came from the 6 touchdown game against the Patriots. That had a lot of heavy lifting to do with that. But still, you got outscored by 170 points on the season. That's like
And Herbie,
3 football scores, dog. Like,
and Herbie, you know what makes me feel bad is that we wasted a great year from Jason Taylor. Because despite how awful that team was, he was still a baller. He still had some juice in his tank, Herbie, and we just let that go to waste. And I think I remember Joey Porter being pretty good for us that year too. But I know for sure, man, JT, man, I apologize for you, my brother, for you to have to live through That version of the Dolphins.
Man, so the reason why this is really tough to go back and look at that, like
Oh,
part of the reason I personally love doing the retrospective is because one, we get to relive some things that we really enjoyed from pop culture and stuff. But two, we get to go back and look at the draft. That's my favorite part of this. And if you've been listening to the show, if you've been watching us for years, before we were on YouTube, before it was a video podcast, when it was audio only, I have championed the 2007 draft as being one of the greatest drafts. Now, granted, it is very top heavy. It is not. It does not have a lot of depth. It's super top heavy, but the top is arguably the best ever at their positions in the 2007 draft. The 2007 draft had the number 2 pick in the 2007 draft was Calvin Johnson. The number 3 pick in the 2007 draft was Joe Thomas, dog. The number 11 pick in the 2007 draft was Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. The number 14 pick in the 2000 draft was Hall of Famer Darrell Revis, dog. And then you got guys, and that is why it's really bad. You guys had the 9th pick in that draft, right? Okay, you didn't have an opportunity to get Calvin Johnson. You didn't have an opportunity to get Joe Thomas. Whatever.
Everybody else fair game.
Everybody else fair game. You had an opportunity to get Patrick Willis. You had an opportunity to get Marshawn Lynch. You had an opportunity to get Adam Carricker. You got an opportunity to get Darrell Revis. You had an opportunity to get Lawrence Timmons. You had an opportunity to get Jarvis Moss, Leon Hall, Michael Griffin, Aaron Ross, Reggie Nelson, Dwayne Bowe, Brandon Mayweather. You had an opportunity to get John Beeson or Anthony Spencer. And then, this is the one that really sucks. The Miami Dolphins, who have been terrible when it comes to offensive line play, you had an opportunity to get Joe Staley. I'm just talking about the first. Marshall Young is way back. Joe Staley went 28th. That's just the first round.
That first round is epic. I forgot.
That's the first round, bruh. All of those dudes could have been a Miami Dolphin. And Cam Cameron and Randy Mueller decided to take Ted Ginn Jr., dog. Yikes. Disgusting. That's tough.
And the funny thing was, we were killed for not taking Brady Quinn, who turned out to be
a bust. Major bust. Super bust. Super trap. But there's so many solid guys that y'all could have had, bro. Like, okay, they're not a Hall of Famer. Lawrence Timmons was a good football player for a couple of years.
Leon Hall was good in his prime. You named Dwayne Bowe. You named a whole bunch of guys.
I named good players. Like John Beeson, Anthony Spencer, Cowboys, good player, bro. Like Joe Staley is a multi-time Pro Bowler, multi-time All-Pro, and y'all took Ted Ginn. Then y'all in the second round took John Beck, and this is who y'all left on the cutting block, bro. You could have traded up to get somebody like Eric Weddle, bro, but y'all took John Beck, and goodness gracious, y'all could have took Sidney Rice. Y'all could have took Steve Smith, the other Steve Smith. Like, this is... And then, let's actually go to the draftees themselves, bruh. You guys drafted Ted Ginn Jr., John Beck, Samson Stastali, Lorenzo Booker, Paul Soliali, Regan Mawau, Kelvin Smith, and Brandon Fields. Brick after brick after brick after brick. The best player from that draft class was Lorenzo Booker, who was a fullback, right?
I mean, some fans might argue Paul Soliai, but you're asking for piss or shit at that point.
I want to give you Paul Soliai, but that's just because his position was more important. But objectively, the person who did their job the best out of that draft class was Lorenzo Booker. He was the best player as far as doing what he did at the highest level. He was a better football player. He was better at his job than Paul Soliai was. Like, it's just a fact. You got Paul Soliai and Lorenzo Booker, and it was just straight bricks after that. Oh my God, bro. Bricks. John Beck lasted 2 years.
Get you, man. That's what a bad team will get you, man.
This is incredibly bad, dog.
Randy, Jeff, Chris, God, Sully, please be the chosen one. Sully,
this is tough, bro. This is tough.
Man, and mind you, Herbie, like this was around the time where Parcells was gonna turn us around. You know, the 2008 and whatever. All these fucking dinosaurs, man. Never do anything for
Man,
us.
shout out to Cap, man. And then next year, then we chose Jake Long over Matt Ryan. Just brick after brick, man. The bricks
Brick
continue,
after
man.
brick.
Y'all
Hey,
niggas
and
was
you know
like
what's
y'all was
funny,
like the
bro? I
Orlando
hated.
Magic, bro.
Hey, I hated Matt Ryan for so many years, dog. Just because people used to tell me that, bro. I wanted him to fail. And then I realized, you know what, dog? Like, I should just accept the fact that we should have drafted Jay Long, bro. When
It
we
was
needed a
nuts.
quarterback.
It's nuts.
When we needed
It's
a
nuts.
quarterback, like this is
It's
insane,
nuts,
bro.
bro. Like this is so funny because there's nothing good to say about this. All we could do is laugh at the stupidity, dog. At least with the 2008 retrospective, we could say, "Hey, remember this time in that season? You remember what this happened? You remember this game? This was just bad, bro. This is just
From
straight
start to
ass
finish.
cheeks from start to finish, bro.
Only,
Like,
only highlight of the season is Camarillo over the middle.
that's
That's
it.
it.
Dog, y'all could have had Marshall Yonder in the third round, and y'all took Samson Satali, dog.
Who was a
Yo,
failure? Just a complete failure. Oh,
like, dog, like,
oh
yo,
my.
yeah, man. I got nothing, bro. What do you have to talk about, bro? Like when it comes to this team, what do you remember,
I already,
bro?
hey,
Other than
listen,
nothing,
I already told you what I hated the most, and I already told you the one moment we had, Herbie. As a matter of fact, I put this season for me, Herbie, I put on the back burner because this was the hardest year of football I had to watch as a fan. Because here's the thing, Herbie, the Dolphins didn't even give us their regular BS where they kind of make you feel like, okay, maybe we can get back in the playoff hunt. Like this was the one season where it was just like, man, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it got to the point where it was just like, oh man, if I go to a game, I can't leave without my paper bag. There's no way you should be showing up watching this team without a protective shield that looks like crap because they are crap. Like Herbie,
yeah.
that
That
team
I do
traumatized
remember,
me.
man. That was the thing about it, bro. Because that was peak brown paper bag Dolphins. Like just everybody had a brown paper bag over their face in the
Bro,
stands,
it
bro.
was
That
disgusting.
era, it was
Like, like,
rough. It
like,
was rough.
like Herbie, that era of the Dolphins, bro, is a. I put it out of my mind because '07 was a great year outside of that for me.
For sure. True. True.
So
True. True.